Most people see their retirement fund as a vault. You spend decades stuffing money into it, and one day, you hope it's full enough to finally stop. But you're picturing the machine backwards, and that misperception is costing you years of your life and millions in potential freedom. What if, instead of a vault, you've been building a crew? A small elite team of financial specialists whose sole job is to go out and earn your paycheck for you. The moment that crew's combined salary matches your living expenses, you've won. The saving can stop. Not when you're 65, not when you hit some arbitrary number, but the day your team is fully staffed and operational. This is the protocol for building that team, knowing exactly when it's ready for duty, and finally giving yourself permission to walk away. Let's meet our two new hires. Your first employee is named Principal. Principal is your foundational worker, the one who shows up every day. But Principal alone isn't enough. To truly scale your operation, you need a second, more dynamic employee. Let's call this one Growth. Growth's job isn't to just sit there, it's to recruit. Every dollar Growth earns goes out and finds another dollar to bring onto the team. This is the engine of compounding. For decades, you've been the foreman, manually transferring your own labor, your paycheck, into this office, hoping to hire enough of these workers. The entire goal of this financial protocol is to reach the day you can stop being the foreman, the day the office runs itself. This is the core shift. You're not saving for a number. You're hiring for a specific income. So, how do we calculate when the team is fully staffed? It starts with your target payroll. Let's say you need $40,000 a year from your investments to live on, after taxes. That's your team's annual payroll obligation. Now, we need to know the safe salary your team can generate without going broke. Decades of market data and studies point to a reliable starting point, a 4% annual withdrawal rate. It's not a magic number, but a tested budgeting rule for your crew. If your team is built with a balanced mix of principal and growth workers, historically, it can pay out 4% of its total value in salary each year, adjust for inflation, and still sustain itself for decades. The math becomes beautifully simple. Take your needed annual income, $40,000, and multiply it by 25. The result, $1 million, is your full crew number. When your portfolio reaches that size, it can theoretically support that $40,000 salary indefinitely. Your $1 million crew, paying a 4% salary, generates your $40,000. The machine is self-sufficient. This is the target that renders the act of saving obsolete. But a rule of thumb isn't a retirement plan. It's a conversation starter. The dangerous mistake is treating the 4% rule as a green light. It's not. It's a blueprint that requires your specific engineering. Because your 4% isn't the same as anyone else's. 3 personal factors act as levers on your safe stop date. The first is your investment mix. A team made only of cautious principal workers, like all bonds, may not generate enough growth to fight inflation. A team of only aggressive growth workers, like all stocks, might panic and quit during a market crash. You need a balanced department. A classic 60-40 split between growth, stocks, and principal, bonds, is the traditional model for this self-sustaining office. The second lever is your timeline. A crew needing to pay salaries for 50 years faces different stresses than one funding 20 years. The longer the payroll timeline, the more resilient your mix needs to be, often meaning a slightly larger growth department to ensure the recruiting never stops. The third and most crucial lever is your personal flexibility. This is your secret weapon. Can you temporarily reduce the payroll by 10% during a bad year for the business? If your team knows it can pay $36,000 in a market downturn instead of a rigid $40,000, its long-term survival odds skyrocket. This flexibility is the shock absorber most people never install. You don't just wait for a number, you audit for durability. Let's build 2 different crews and see when they can safely retire their foreman. First, meet Casey. Casey is 30, needs $50,000 a year in future income, and is aggressively hiring growth workers with an 80% stock, 20% bond mix. Casey's full crew number is $1.25 million. By saving $1,500 a month and earning an average 7% annual return, Casey's portfolio hits that target in about 26 years. That gets Casey to age 56. But is it safe to stop then? With an 80% growth department, Casey's crew is volatile. A major market crash early on could severely damage the payroll system. Casey's protocol requires a contingency plan, the ability to cut spending or even do a year of part-time work if the first few years are rough. That flexibility is Casey's final safety check. Now consider Morgan. Morgan is 45, wants the same $50,000 income, but prefers a conservative 50-50 balance between growth and principal. Morgan's full crew number is also $1.25 million. Starting with $100,000 already saved and adding $2,000 a month, Morgan's more conservative crew, earning an average 5.5% return, reaches the target in about 18 years, at age 63. Morgan's crew is less flashy, but more stable from day one. The safety mechanism here isn't drastic flexibility, but the built-in stability of a larger principal department that provides steady payouts even when growth's recruiting stalls. Morgan's stop signal can be clearer, with less need for a contingency plan. The key isn't which path is better. It's that both Casey and Morgan now have a system, not just a guess. They are managing a dynamic team, not staring at a static number. This is the power of the crew protocol. It transforms an obsession with a finish line into a mastery of a living system. Your stop date isn't on a calendar. It's the moment your system passes its final readiness review. That review has 3 critical checkpoints. First, the sustainability audit. Before you give your notice as foreman, you must test the payroll under stress. Use historical data or conservative projections. What happens to your crew if the market drops 30% in your first year? Does your mix of growth and principal workers, plus your personal flexibility, allow the system to keep paying you without permanently depleting the team? This audit moves you from theory to applied engineering. Second, the lifestyle lock-in. Is that $40,000 or $50,000 target truly your number? Have you accounted for healthcare, taxes, and dreams that now have room to breathe? This is where most generic plans fail. Your crew's mandate must be crystal clear. If your expenses are a moving target, your team will never be fully staffed. You must define the mission before you declare it accomplished. And third, the bridge installation. Very few people go from full saving to zero income overnight. Your protocol needs a bridge, a 1 to 2 year cash buffer held in a separate account. This isn't part of your crew's working capital. This is the break room. It pays salaries while your main team adjusts to its new duties without you needing to sell growth workers during a temporary downturn. This bridge is the final piece of operational security. It turns a cliff into a smooth off-ramp. Now, let's apply the final audit to see the stop signal in action. Imagine Casey, at 56, with a $1.25 million crew. The market drops 25% in year 1. Casey's portfolio drops to about $937,000. A rigid 4% withdrawal of $50,000 now represents a 5.3% payout rate, a strain on the system. But because Casey planned for flexibility, they temporarily reduced their payroll to $40,000 for 2 years. This gives the growth department time to recover and recruit again. The crew adapts, the system holds. Without that flexibility lever, the crew might be forced to lay off permanent members, shrinking its future earning power forever. Morgan, at 63, faces the same drop. Their more conservative portfolio might only fall 15%, to about $1,062,000. Their 4% withdrawal is now a 4.7% rate. The impact is less severe. Their larger principal department provides more stable cash flow from bonds, potentially allowing them to maintain the full $50,000 without as much stress. Their system was built for different conditions, and it performs as designed. The result is the same: confidence, not guesswork. This is the ultimate reframe. You are not retiring from work. You are retiring your work. You are promoting yourself from foreman to CEO. Your role shifts from active contributor to strategic overseer of a now self-sustaining operation. You stop saving because the job of generating your income has been successfully outsourced to your expert, internal team. Every quarterly statement becomes a personnel report, not a scoreboard. So, the safest and earliest time to stop saving for retirement is not an age. It's not a magic number. It's the day you complete your third and final system check. When your cruise portfolio passes the sustainability audit for your personal timeline. When your lifestyle costs are locked in and fully funded by the cruise output. And when your bridge account is installed, providing a buffer for a smooth transition. That is your signal. That is your permission. You built the crew. You trained them. You stress-tested the operation. Now, you can finally step back and let them run the company. The office is open. The payroll is automated. Your new job is simply to collect it and live.
The single best financial decision you can make right now? Invest in your financial education. Hit subscribe to get our next breakdown and turn on notifications so you don't miss out, because the system only works if you apply it consistently. I'll see you in the next one.